All right, from RAC, let's talk about, I know we've talked about the Investment and Securities Act. It's now a law in Nigeria. We're speaking to the sponsor of that law from the Senate. Senator Osita Izunazo is the chairman of a Senate Committee on Capital Market. Joins us from Abuja studio. Senator, good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
Well, I think by now you're being celebrated. The president has given his assent to the law. It's a new dawn, especially for digital assets. They've been very happy about this. But why did you think of this? What loopholes did you see in our existing laws that made you think of this upgrade to our investment and securities law?
Well, thank you very much. Well, if you look at the Investment and Securities Act of 2007, you will discover that there are lots of loopholes. That is why we didn't just amend it, but it's a repeal and reenactment of the Investment and Securities Act 2025. So many loopholes are so glaring. It didn't give SEC the powers it's supposed to have in line with global realities. So we have modernized the law. Today, SEC is having that number one principle of IOSCO, which is to have a very strong regulatory authority for the regulator. Today, the crypto and digital assets are now part of securities. That wasn't the case in the last act. The last act did not empower SEC to regulate crypto markets or even other digital assets. But today, crypto can be regulated by SEC. And you see, it has also cured some kind of regulatory conflict, maybe between the CBN and SEC. You know that in the past, the CBN said they will not regulate crypto because they didn't see it as one of the investment instruments. In fact, I mean, they only saw it as an investment instrument and not as a payment system in Nigeria. But today, SEC is oversighting the crypto, while the CBN is solely responsible for its money market system. So you can see that even that conflict has been reduced. That is even the same case in the United States, where it is the SEC, the US SEC, that oversights the asset and digital securities, but not the Federal Reserve, as the case may be. So you can see that there are so many loopholes. Today, you have a structured commodity exchange that was not there in the last act, particularly as it concerns the agricultural sector and the mining sector. So there are so many, there are so many. We can't even exhaust it this time around. That is why it has to be a repeal of the 2027 Act. So we can reenact a new, a modern, more regulatory, robust, and legal framework for the capital market in Nigeria.
So the most excited of all of this seem to be the crypto community, but obviously digital assets is not just about crypto. What can we expect to be different when it comes to digital assets investment in Nigeria following this law?
Well, there are several aspects of digital assets, which has to do with financial technologies, fintech. Today in SEC, they have a department for financial technologies. They didn't used to have it before. Today, there's a milestone, there's a surveillance tool between the CBN and SEC. And to that extent, SEC is also advised to expand its surveillance tool with agencies like Office of National Security Advisor, agencies like NFIU, agencies like EFCC, DSS, and even Nigerian police. So there are several digital assets that we're talking about here, but it has to synchronize because it's a very volatile system. If you don't synchronize it properly, then we might lose track of what we're trying to cure. So this is the intent of this particular legislation, to ensure that all digital assets are synchronized in a particular system, not just the crypto market, but you will agree with me that even in the crypto market, Nigeria is number 2 in the world, globally number 2 in terms of adoption and transaction. Nigeria is number 2 after India. But even then, it is not even regulated, and Nigeria is number 2. What about now there's a conscious effort at regulating the crypto asset and the digital asset in general? So I think there's a proper development and is synchronizing with world realities on how best to use the capital market to shape the economy of a nation.
But talking about the digital assets, especially crypto at this time, it does seem that there's still work to be done to get proper adoption from the CBN, for instance, to get banks buy-in and allow individuals or businesses to freely invest and trade around that. Any plans to accelerate that from where we are now?
That is the essence of SEC oversighting the crypto sector in the country. Like I told you that it is not the responsibility of the CBN, but they have to work in collaboration. They have to have a surveillance tool where the two agencies can work together to ensure, even what I'm telling you is that even as it is today, globally, they think that the crypto market in Nigeria is regulated. But I'm telling you it's not regulated because it's a very volatile market. But with this regulation that we are put in place, it's going to make it seamless. It's a blockchain technology. It is something that when you plug it in, much as it is global, but you can trace the wallet address of any blockchain experience. The same way, if you are operating in the fintech, you'll be able to know that BVN, this particular BVN is from Nigeria. The same way you know that this wallet address is from so and so country. So there's a lot of work to be done, but it is better that we start somewhere that we didn't even start at all, because there's a lot of money to be generated into the system through the crypto and digital asset formulation and robust regulation, which is the most important thing. Before now, it's not regulated. Now, SEC is about to resume a robust regulation for the crypto asset in Nigeria.
So the Act also looks at issues around fraud and Ponzi schemes and all of that. And some would argue that while it looks good on paper, building that confidence, investors' confidence, which is what all of this is about, goes beyond the law to the actual work done by those in the value chain, in the institutions to implement this. I mean, if somebody doesn't get punished, another person, or if somebody finds a way to go around the law, then other people feel they can still do it and get away with it. So, I mean, having the law, that's good, and everybody's happy about that, but it doesn't still assure investors that government policies cannot change, the fraudulent individuals cannot get away with it because the institutions are not, as implemented as they should be.
Well, before now, the enforcement strategy of the Commission is weak. But with the recent act, it has strengthened the enforcement policies of SEC. So Ponzi or pyramid trading, once you are caught, it is 10 years imprisonment. And you pay a fine of up to 20 to 40 million. And also, you also have to refund all the money that you collected from people. So these laws are made as deterrent so that people do not engage in Ponzi. Because now we have stiffer penalties, unlike in the past. And it is not only about Ponzi. Every other transaction in the capital market, once it is manipulated, you pay a fine, you are in prison, or both. If you get involved in insider trading, you pay a fine, you're also in prison, or both. So you see, it is now being strengthened and tightened that people will be scared to even go into it. And they can be tracked using the advantages of fintech. This can be tracked anywhere in the world. So I'm sure that with this new policy, this new regulation, those who are planning to, or those who are already in the art of Ponzi, I'm sure they will do a rethink. I can assure you that it's going to stop. It will stop, certainly.
Okay, so taking a wider look at our capital market now, we've been talking about how to increase listing, get bigger market cap and all of that. Is there anything that can be done to attract more participants in the market listing on the stock exchange now? So at least we can tower up to countries like South Africa.
Well, it's rather very unfortunate that today in Nigeria we have only about 155 or 56 companies that are listed on the exchange. But that is not how it's supposed to be. Government is supposed to put certain measures in place to give investors confidence that they should come to the capital market. If you recall, the capital market some years ago in Nigeria was booming. Thereafter, people lost their monies and they lost a lot of confidence in the capital market. But the capital market is gradually coming back. So I think there should be a conscious effort to get most companies, particularly companies that have that are government companies, to get listed. Last time I heard about NNPC Limited talking about getting listed on Nigeria Exchange. That should be a very welcome development. We should encourage NNPC to come on board and also encourage other government-owned companies to come on board. And it is not something government is going to force any company to get listed, but government can put certain measures in place that if your company is listed, these are some of the advantages of it. That is why in the Senate Committee on Capital Market, we're aggressively going into stakeholders engagement to explain to Nigerians the benefit of getting involved in the capital market. Because the days of people not having confidence is gone. Today, even the issue of unclaimed dividend can be tracked, and people can easily get their money back. So I believe that Nigeria has come of the stage where people should have more confidence in the capital market, and we're building it. But it is a collective responsibility of those already in the capital market to even explain to other companies who are not in the capital market that these are the gains you are supposed to have if you're in the capital market. I know the reason why some of these companies don't want to be listed, because they will think that once you are listed, then you have opened up your company for scrutiny. But there are other advantages of getting listed. If you're listed, you can attract more foreign portfolio, more foreign investment to your company. So I don't think there is need for companies not to have confidence in Nigerian stock exchange and get listed. So we are talking to them. In the next quarter, the Senate Committee on Capital Market will also be engaging listed companies in Nigeria in a round table to explain to other business entities the advantages of getting listed, and also to tell us if there are areas they think government should play a role, then we'll discuss it. And government should do what they're supposed to do to strengthen the capital market.
Yeah, Senator, I'm happy that you said, okay, you're going to engage more for next quarter. But I mean, when we talk about government doing more, you are the government that we know. You are the lawmaker, and you are heading the capital market committee. So I guess it's now up to you to create some incentives.
That is why you can see that the new law is in place. And I must even commend Mr. President because of his foresight. The moment National Assembly passed this legislation, it didn't even take Mr. President up to 2 weeks to assent to it. He never queried it. He didn't raise any objection because he knows the importance of strengthening the capital market in Nigeria. So I must commend him because even some of the ingredients of this new law tallies with his 8-point agenda. So I must think that Mr. President knows exactly what he's doing, and I believe that more attention should be given to the capital market. The Minister of Finance and the coordinating Minister of the Economy, we have engaged him severally. And he's also working tirelessly to ensure that this stakeholder participation we're talking about is a reality. So we as government, we as lawmakers are doing our best to ensure that capital market is given a lift, an uplift in Nigeria ecosystem. That is the way it is as of today.
And another issue which we often discuss, making the capital market more attractive, especially to, the younger generation, is getting more digital. While the NGX, for instance, we've seen them, but there was the demutualization, and then we're supposed to have more digital access and all of that. But you still have some encumbrances when it comes to digital trading. For instance, you want to trade from an app or so, and maybe you want to sell off, you have to wait +3 days before you get your funds. These are some of those things that we think need attention to make the capital market, especially the stock exchange, more attractive to the younger generation who are always in a hurry to get in and make some money and get out.
Well, thank you for this question. You will realize that NGS, otherwise known as Nigerian Stock Exchange in the past, today you have one of their subsidiary, CSCS, that is responsible for ensuring that this trade goes on in and out within a period of 3 days. The last time we engaged them, we told them that there is need for them to reduce it to 24 hours, so that once you trade, you can sell, you can buy and sell, and get your money within 24 hours. And they assured us that they are going to improve on their system to get it done. But as for digital asset, this is one of Nigeria's biggest developmental effort, in the sense that our teeming population, the youths, are largely involved in this trading. And they are doing this trading without regulation. Without regulation. People are trading anyhow in the forex market, but today there's a regulation, which means that people will have more confidence. The youth can trade more. In fact, when you see youth pressing their phones, most times they're trading. It's not as if they're sending messages. You wouldn't know. While they're in the offices, they're trading. That is why the adoption of crypto, Nigeria is number 2 globally, like I said earlier on. So I think that we have started well with this new legislation. This legislation will enhance, because there are so many questions going on now. There are so many things agitating the minds of Nigerian youth. Where are we heading to? What is the impact of what we are doing to the economy? So you can imagine the type of money we are losing in the past without regulation, because it's a free market. It's a global market. People can do anything without being regulated. But today it's going to be regulated. And Nigeria will be in to make a good sum of money from this transaction. So I believe that our youth should get prepared. The regulators should also get prepared. And even the investors should get prepared, because Nigerian stock market is going to boom. I see a boom in Nigerian stock market. I see a boom in the investment instrument of this country. I see a boom in the investment vehicle of this country in the next couple of months. I see a boom.
All right, I want to see that with you too, Senator. Thank you so much. Senator Osita Izunaso, Chairman, Senate Committee on Capital Markets.